All right, now we're gonna make our spicy Paccheri alla vodka. This is a very fast pickup. So we normally do not do this one until the guests are ready. There's nothing to do ahead of time. Some things we do ahead of time, we get done really quickly as the ticket comes in. The Paccheri and some other different pastas that we make are very fast. We don't need to do that. We can wait until it's time for the steaks and the chicken and the pork chops and all those kinds of things to kind of get done before we begin this process. It is about a 4-minute process total, so it does not take very long at all. First thing we're going to do is going to come over here. We're going to get a saute pan. We're going to ladle in about 6 ounces of sauce. The sauce amount is actually dependent on how reduced this is. If it's very reduced and already orange in color, it's going to be closer to 4 ounces. If it is cold out of the fridge and it's very pink in color, it's going to be 8 ounces. So you can see this one is reducing. It's not totally reduced yet, but it's sitting here overheat, reducing for this evening's service. And it is going to be about 6 ounces because it's already hot. You can see the color is starting to turn orange, but we haven't reached that bright orange color. I'm actually going to show you right now an example of the bright orange color that we're going for. Is kind of this right here. This is a cold sauce from yesterday, but I'm actually going to show you again in the pan what that looks like here in a few minutes. So the reduction is what causes it to turn orange. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on. We're going to get that boiling. In the meantime, we're going to drop our pasta. So right down here, we keep all of our pastas. In this case, our Paccheri pasta. It is a 6-ounce portion, already ready to go. Kind of gently break it up. Any of your pastas, make sure you don't dump them into the boiling water in one lump. Just kind of get them broke up a little bit like this. It is very helpful. Then we're going to go into one of our baskets right here. Make sure the water's boiling. If the water's not boiling, we need to temp it and make sure the water is up boiling before we begin boiling pasta. So we are boiling, so we're going to dump that in, just like that. We're going to drop it down in there. Paccheri is a 3-minute cook time. So we're going to hit this timer right here for 3 minutes. Then we've got our sauce. Let's come over and take a look at our sauce. You can see it's starting to bubble, but you can see it's bubbling and it's starting to turn a little bit more orange in color. As that reduction begins, that color is going to go from a light pink to a bright orange. We're almost there. We're actually going to keep the camera rolling and watch it come all the way down before we pause while our pasta finishes. So you can see it's continuing to cook. Now, of course, this is a busy station, so we could be doing a lot of other things while this is happening. But this is ultimately what we're looking for. Now we're starting to get that orange color. We've kind of gone from pink to orange. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. You can also see the bubbles got tighter. It's another good sign that we have achieved what we're going for. See that orange color? Now, last thing we do before we pause is we're going to come over here. I'm going to grab about 3 tabs of butter right there. Actually got 4, but I'm only going to use 3. 1, 2, 3 tabs of butter. And you can swirl them in a little bit, but you can see the color difference. Look at that color and look at that color. This is the orange color we're aiming for. This is all about sight. Okay, if you get it a little bit too orange, you can dash a little bit more sauce in if you need to. If it's not orange enough, we need to keep reducing a little bit. So we need to do this by sight every time and make sure we get it just to the right color. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right, so here we are. We've got about 5 seconds left on our pasta. See, the timer is going to go off just about right now. It's been 3 minutes on our pasta. We'll pull it up, we'll check on it, shake it around. It is very much cooked. We're going to go back to our Paccheri, our Paccheri sauce or our vodka sauce, which we turned the heat off when we got to that correct color, and we've just been resting it for a couple of minutes. But I've got that butter. You can see that butter has begun to melt, and now we're going to go ahead and throw that in there with the heat underneath it. Now, of course, that came out of boiling water. That went into a pan that had already been hot, so we don't need to reduce it any further. Just make sure you see some bubbles, turn the heat off. That is all we're looking for. We've already got the butter mounted in. We're going to make sure each noodle or each pasta is filled with sauce and otherwise completely coated, just like that. Then we're going to get a warm bowl. All of our pastas, except for Alfredo, come in the bowl with a rim. We'll leave that right here. I'm going to bring this over here. We're going to gently dump in sauce. Notice I'm using a rubber spatula. It is important to try and get as much of this wonderful alla vodka sauce into this pan as we can, so we want to scrape it in without making too much of a mess. go. There we are. Now, if it's slow, like right now, we'll walk over, we'll garnish it ourselves with the Parmesan cheese, the Reggiano. If it is busy, typically there's going to be a person in the middle who's helping you out with this process. The person in the middle might even help you drop the pasta. Just kind of depends on who's working and what kind of night you got going on. So in any case, when we do the Parmesan cheese across the top, we want to do like a line pattern. All the way across, nice and thick, back and forth. You should be able to see pasta and sauce on both sides. This pasta should not be swimming in sauce. It should be coated in sauce, but there's not a bunch of extra sauce sitting in that bowl. See that? That is what you want. You want to get that out to the guests as quickly as possible so that they have a chance to eat it while it's very, very hot. And that is the spicy Paccheri alla vodka.